You ever wonder what happens when we die? Have you ever had a near death experience? Why do they call them near death experiences anyway? Near death? I mean, if your body stopped breathing, stopped working, and your body died, wouldn't it be a death experience and then come back? I don't know. I know that I have had several different experiences. I have had, how many times? I think at least 3 times I've been told that I only had a short time to live. Now I deal with the after effects of treatment to this body that they completely broken. Oh, it's awful. Medicine did this. Medicine made my bone marrow not good. Medicine took away, I used to have perfect teeth. Medicine took away my ability to make the money I should have made over the years. I've got a couple books that I've been writing. I've written. I wanted to publish at one point, and finding a publisher, as you know, is not very easy. So I was going to do a self-publishing. I think I got hooked up with like a scam. Thank God I didn't do that. But I'm going to go for it. I think I'm going to go away for a day or 2 or 3 and get everything set up, finish up what I need to finish up on the books, and go for self-publishing. Because I want to talk about my experiences in the spiritual realm, because you know what? Until we start having an eternally minded outlook, until we start thinking eternally, you're never going to find the fulfillment here. This is our temporary home. It's not where we belong. We're all here. We're all, and as you know, with all this funky stuff going on right now, the shifts in the universe, the glitches in the matrix, some people think we're, shifting in parallel universes, whatever the case may be. Something funky's going on, but this isn't our home. This worldly realm, this physical realm is not our home. This right here might seem real to us, but this is not. I knocked my dog. Hey, it was me, guys. It was me. So, sorry about that. That was my doggies. I knocked and I said, this is real to us, but you know what? It's an illusion. It's not really real. We see that as concrete and real. We have a hard time grasping the spiritual, when in reality it's backwards. The spiritual is reality. It's what's going to remain when all of this goes away, because all of this is not going to go away. If you've ever lost anybody, if you've ever lost a pet, if you've ever lost a loved one, if you've ever come close to death, if you've ever had a bad diagnosis, a bad car accident, whatever the case may be, this is very, very temporary, and it's so fragile that it can be taken in a moment's notice. Also, what we see as reality, maybe you've got a lot of money in the bank. Maybe you've got a happy home and family. Again, very fragile, can be taken at a moment's notice. Something could happen. All your money disappears. The stock market drops. People have lost money that way, right? Look at in the Depression, people that had money in the bank, they go to the bank, there's no money. Money is not the answer. Although I'm not one of those people that says, money's not good. In the Bible, it doesn't say money's not good. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. And you know why? We all know why, if you know anybody. And that goes for the poor and the wealthy, because the poor can be just as focused on the material world as the wealthy. And if you're making your focus this material world, you can't find fulfillment. You can't. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how much sex you have. I don't care how many people are, always about praising you. You're not going to find it. You're always going to need more. We're all going to die one day. Each one of us is going to die. These bodies are going to go, unless Jesus comes back first before we actually physically die. But each one of us is going to leave this realm. Are you ready for that? Are you ready? What happens when we die? I get that question all the time. And I get that question from people who claim to be believers. And they've listened to these so-called gurus, even some people who have claimed to have near-death experiences, I'm not saying they haven't, maybe they did, but they were deceived, because if they're not telling you that God is real, they're deceived. I just heard a guy this morning saying, there is no judgment, there is no anything, it's all up to you, you create God, there is no creator, and I'm sorry, he's wrong. He's been deceived. I didn't get the feeling he was lying. I got the feeling he was lied to and believed it. How many people believe a lie? And I'm not talking about religion, because you know what? Jesus talked against religion. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about truth. And why do we call it the afterlife? The afterlife? It's life. It's not the afterlife. It's after this realm. It's not the afterlife. It is life. It's what we should all be focused on. Eternity. Eternity. We don't get out of this, okay? We don't get out of this. We get out of this eventually, but we don't die. It's not like we're just going to lay in the ground. I know some people believe that you just lay there. No, not true. Some people believe there's just nothingness. How freaky is that? You know what? That would terrify me. If there's just nothingness and I go into, like, I don't even exist, how is that even possible? And why am I going through all this crap here if that's the case? Let's talk about the afterlife. Let's talk about the afterlife. I'll be right back. Enough of me ranting about that. I'm not going to rant. I'm sorry. I just get really frustrated. I get really frustrated because it's all about God, and we need to focus on eternity. And some people, it's hard because a lot of people, you have to be really discerning, because a lot of people say that they are focused on God and they're truly not. They give people that truly are a bad name, and it's okay for a believer to be wealthy. I know people say, well, why is he wealthy? And then other people say, well, if he's not wealthy, he's not a true believer. Neither are true. Some believers are poor, some believers are rich, some believers are white, some believers are black, some believers are brown, some believers are yellow, some believers are middle class, some believers are married, some believers are single. God doesn't say, okay, believe in me and everything's going to be wonderful, or if everything's wonderful, you don't believe in me. I mean, you can't judge by that. You have to judge by somebody's actions, by their, not just their words, but their actions. Do they follow it up? Do they live in fear? Because if they do, they're not living in faith, okay? And we all get anxious, we all get afraid, but if you can't hold that in and leave everything to God, if you can't do that here, remember where we're going next. Okay, so I have had several experiences, and I'm going to do a couple videos on them. I've been on the other side. I've experienced that through flatlining. One time, okay, so the first time I was just a child, and then it happened 2 more times as an adult, and then I've had experiences, supernatural experiences as well. And I'm going to tell you all about all those, but I can't do it in one video. I'd bore you to death, or you'd be sitting here watching me all day long, and I'm sure you got other things to do. But what I want to say is, okay, just picture this, okay? You don't just go into nothingness. Everybody's going to, and there is some truth to how you view things, maybe how your mindset is here, because think about it, in that realm, it's different. So God can show himself to you any way he chooses to. Any way he chooses to. He can show himself to you as Jesus Christ in the long flowing robe, because that's, a Jesus that is the European Jesus. If he chose to. I don't think he's going to choose to, though, because that's just what, artists have created him to be. I mean, if you think about it, where he was born and everything, he's Middle Eastern, he's going to be brown to black, he's going to be a darker color, at least his physical body, anyway. But Spirit can show you, God can show himself in many, many ways. Remember when he showed himself to Elijah or he said, I'll give you a glimpse. And he's that still small voice. He's not the major wind. Remember? God shows himself to us here through the beauty of his landscape, through the love of an animal, through a little child. And we have to trust him completely like children do. You know, he says to me, come to me like little children. That's what he means. Children don't sit there and ask 20 questions first, you know. Okay, so think about this. Have you ever had a really, really, really intense dream? And you're in that dream and you are, like, it's real. It's not just a dream. And then you wake up and it takes you a few minutes to realize where you are. And then, okay, you come to and you go, okay, it's my bed. I'm in my room, whatever. Imagine that. But where you wake up is really home. Okay? This is like the dream. This is the illusion. Okay? And where you wake up to will be home. And God is there. It's God's realm, okay? It's a different realm. It's not the same as here. They don't need, there's no time and space, so to speak, the way we see it. There's no linear time. So they can be there and it feels as if they've been there forever, good, bad, or indifferent, whatever their experience may be. It all comes down to believing and trusting in the Lord. Not, was I good, was I bad? It's believing and trusting in the Lord. And you know, people say, once saved, always saved is a lie. Now, I got to tell you what I think of that. I do believe, because the Bible says, once you're in my hand, nobody can take me nobody can rip you from my clutches. I believe that. I believe people that say, oh, I was saved and I fell back. I mean, we make mistakes, but I'm talking about people that you go, oh, no, there is none. I don't think you were ever truly saved. I don't think you ever truly, you know, because there was a time where I thought I was. I knew logically, you know, about Jesus and what he did and who he was and historically and blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't until he starts to transform the heart. He starts to transform you that you truly, okay, now he's got me and I know there is no way, there's nothing on this earth, there's nothing anybody can do, there's nothing anybody can say that's going to rip me from his grasp. And I have had tragedy. I have lost people that shouldn't have died. I've been raped since then. I've gone through homelessness since then. Nothing is going to tear me from him, okay? I mean, and that's just a bit of it. I mean, the family stuff that's happened, the attacks, the health stuff, it's all tragedy. I don't blame God. I know I live in a fallen world. Okay, so back to the afterlife. Okay, so you wake up and you're home, okay? And now there's no linear time. There's no, so they can be there. You know, you say, like I have a lot of people say, well, does my loved one miss me? Well, no, because for a couple different reasons. Because they're home, they know where they are, they know you're where you're supposed to be, and that, you know, that you will meet again. And that knowledge, that true knowledge, not just a hopeful knowledge, but a true knowledge. And also because there's no linear time, so they're not waiting 20, 30 years in the same way you are. They're still alive. They're still, it's not like everybody just kind of hangs out in the clouds and waits, you know, or watches every move. Life continues, but it continues in this realm. Now we're talking eternity. So once you get there and you have your place in eternity, it's not going to change. It's not like here where we can say, okay, well, I made that mistake, I'm going to fix it. It's not like that there. Once you get there and you've made your mark, that's where you are. That's where you're spending eternity. I'll talk a little bit about the experiences. I don't want to deceive you into thinking that this is going to be one of the experiences, but I'll tell you about them. I just kind of wanted to answer, is it real? Yeah, it's real. This is just kind of a rant, I guess. I want to do a workshop on this. I want people to come to know how important eternity truly is and how we should all be eternity minded. Yes, we have to focus here. We have to be grounded here. We have to take care of business here. But what's truly important is what's going to stay with us through eternity. And that's not the things that people tend to focus on here, you know? So no, we don't die. We don't die. We don't die. You know, I know people who truly know the truth and lose somebody. They still grieve because we miss them here. But the grief is different than the grief of somebody who doesn't know or that doesn't believe anything. Or that thinks that, you know, there's just like nothingness. You're just annihilated. There's no more. Because that would mean their loved one is gone forever. And that can be a scary concept to think that we're all going to go there. Heaven and hell? Is there just one heaven, one hell? Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, but there's different levels to all of this, you know? It's a big place. Think about it. Think about how big this is. And that place is going to hold everybody from the beginning of time until the end of time. It's a big place. There's a lot of manipulators and deception for some who, you know, because when you have a near-death experience, you're not going to enter in to either realm. I mean, you're going to see a glimpse, but you're not going to enter into either realm. When you have an out-of-body experience, you're not going to enter into either realm. You're almost like in the hallway or in the waiting area, I guess. Does that make sense? So all these people are waiting in this waiting area. And we have one enemy who has a bunch of people that, or minions or whatever, that follow him. They're going to continue the lie. And a lot of these people that have out-of-body experiences or near-death experiences run into that. And it's sad. It's really sad. Because that's not the truth. The truth is you got to believe in Jesus. And you got to trust him. And you got to let him transform you. And as he transforms you, some of the stuff never makes sense, you know. And you just kind of learn that, okay, I'm not going to wrap my logical mind around that. But yet you know that you know that you know that it's true because he's actually transformed you. It's not just, oh, I had this great experience and now I believe, like, it's not about feelings. It goes so much deeper than that. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.